must be crazy. The contact, impact, I want that daily. Our breath getting deeper, deeper lately. I want that baby, 'cause I can't get enough.
What's going on, everybody? This is Zach with Strictly Shisha. I'm back in this environment because this hookah is so tall, so I thought you guys would have a better view of it. Today I am reviewing the Shishabucks Cloud Storm Hookah. You guys saw the unboxing of this pipe. You saw my excitement. The minute I opened that box, I was like, man, this is gonna be my new favorite pipe. I opened it up and I haven't been that excited for a pipe in a very long time. I opened it up, the packaging was beautiful, the design was gorgeous, it was unique. And when I felt that pipe in hand, I was like, oh my goodness, this thing is quality. I'm telling you, the first thing I noticed in my hand, the anodization, the sandblasted finish was beautiful. It's silky, smooth, it feels thick, it just feels quality. Now when I compare this to other finishes on other high-end hookahs, like the B2, this just feels thick. The finish is just nice. And I was like, man, I found my new hookah. This is gonna be the one I use on a daily basis. I love it. I just saw it and I was like, this is gonna be the hookah. I was just happy. I was like, this is my everyday pipe. This is gonna be the one. And then I got to smoking it, and there's a little bit of a little quirk to it that I don't prefer, but it's strictly my preference. So let's get into all the features that are jam-packed in this pipe, this revolutionary pipe, and tell you guys a little bit about it, and so you guys can decide for yourself, because I absolutely love it, but there's just one thing I don't like. So this Storm hookah is made by a very reputable company, Shishabucks, who's known for making ultra high quality CNC modern pipes. This is their take on a traditional pipe. So I have this skyscraper, this giant pipe sitting on a ferrous glass base. I personally really like the pairing of this hookah on this base because this base has a really wide foundation to it. So it's nice and stable. I will show you guys this hookah on some boho bases. It is gorgeous. I mean, this thing is just aesthetically appealing, but I think the narrow design of the neck on this base, as well as the wide foundation, makes it perfect for me. So I specifically bought this base for this hookah. You can put this hookah on a lot of different bases. Your traditional KM bases, anything that's roughly 12 inches tall will be able to house this hookah with its diffuser. If you want to put it on a smaller base, you will have to remove the diffuser. So keep that in mind when you are picking out a base for this Storm hookah. So let's start on the bottom and get into all the features that are involved in this pipe. So starting on the bottom, you do have a diffuser that is removable. Now, I don't have the diffuser on today because the diffuser does lend to some of the restriction, which is the main point of concern for me in this pipe. So I don't have the diffuser on here today, but man, without a diffuser, this thing does not have a lot of rumble to it. It's actually quite quiet. I'll show you guys up close the difference between the diffuser and not having the diffuser, so you guys can see the difference in the rumble itself. Similar to what we saw in the Cloud Micro, this Storm hookah does have a ball bearing encapsulated into the bottom of that diffuser to prevent backflow into the pipe. Now I love that on the Cloud Micro. I personally removed it on the Storm to help reduce some of the restriction, but that is a feature that I really admire. Moving on up the downstem, it's a long downstem, especially when you have that diffuser on there, but the coating is beautiful. I've left this in water for an extended period of time, no discoloration at all. In this picture, you guys can see the Storm downstem in comparison to other modern traditional style pipes. You have the Starbuzz, you have the B2, you have the MIG. You can see the downstem is substantially smaller in diameter than the other competing hookahs. Now let's step into the threads, because the threads are very important on a modular pipe. The threads on this Cloud Storm hookah are perfect. They're girthy, they're not overly large, they're not fine, they're just perfect threading. They're the kind of threadings that I am never ever worried about cross threading. There's no air leakage. They are perfect, and I would not change a single thing about the threading. You can see the machining on this. This is done by an expert. This is done properly, and the threads are a great indication of quality of a pipe. Moving on to the heart. It is a traditional heart, but yet there's nothing traditional about it. There are direct ports for all of the hose ports that are involved in this, and they double as purge ports, but we'll get into that. but yet when you open it up, there is a lot going on in this heart. It is a 360 swivel heart. So this thing does fully rotate around, and the beauty of it is when you have a rotating heart, you tend to cut off airflow when it's not aligned with the direct ports. That's why a lot of them have open chambers. This has that traditional chamber feel, but because there's so many openings, you never restrict airflow. So that is a very big deal. When you have a rotating hookah that is traditional chambered and you don't have anything impeding the airflow when you are rotating, that's amazing. That is genius and a lot of engineering. So the heart on this pipe is golden. This is revolutionary when it comes to this heart, and I'm very thoroughly impressed. And if you guys saw this up close, you guys would be as well. The rotating heart on this hookah is an extremely understated feature, and I think that's because there's a bad stigma behind it. In the past, when you had rotating hearts, they never smoked well, and even if they did, the heart was like grinding. It was like grinding gears when you turned it. This thing swivels like butter. I mean, it's just so nice, and I find on a practical daily basis, I actually use it. Not even intentionally, but I'll just be passing the hose and that thing will just whip around to face the person who's smoking it. So when I'm in a group of friends, and traditionally, even with my MIG, I have to kind of turn the pipe and pretend my coals are not gonna fall down. This thing it just swivels on its own and gives you that peace of mind. Even just a moment ago, I reached up to grab some water. I had the hose in my hand, forgetting. It just swiveled with me and faced where I was directing. So I didn't have to worry about knocking over the hookah or unsettling anything. It just works, and I really like it. I don't have a lot of experience with the Starburst carbine, but this is an isolated rotation. It's not the whole pipe actually turning, so I like that about this a lot. Built into this heart, there are 4 dedicated ports. They're interchangeable between hose ports and purge ports. You guys know I prefer a single hose, and even when I'm with friends, we pass the one hose. It's just kind of how we've always done things. But it's nice that these purge ports can act as hose ports. So right now, it is dedicated as a single hose, and I do have 3 purge ports in there. If I did want to make it a multiple hose hookah, I simply take out the rubber gasket on the inside of the purge, and I'm able to put a silicone hose in there, and it works very well. Now, similar to other pipes we've seen on the market these days, a lot of them have the removable ports with a silicone gasket. That seems to be the new thing. But this just feels different. You're not wedging in silicone into that hole, into that little port, or maybe kind of plopping it in there. There's an audible, satisfying click when you put these ports in, and that just lends to the quality and the premium feel of this pipe. Moving on up into this pipe, this thing is unique. So not only do they have a lot of features built in this pipe, they came out with their own unique design. It's not just your standard pipe, or maybe they put some wood around it, which, no offense, that's cool too. This thing has these blades, and I'm sure they also help diffuse heat. They don't even advertise that, but I'm sure if your stem was starting to heat up, I'm sure they help diffuse heat, but it just looks aesthetically appealing. All the fins are removable, so if you didn't want all 4, you could just keep 2. I think it looks great with all 4. And when you walk into a room and you had 100 pipes sitting, this thing is definitely going to stand out in a crowd because it looks so unique. The blades do flare out to form a tray rest. So everything about this pipe is cohesive. It flows, the lines work, and I'm telling you, when that tray clicks in, there is 0 wobble with any part of this pipe. The threads just are perfect. Everything fits in nicely. They all work together to make this whole pipe. They didn't just take features from like everywhere that they could think of and just throw it into a pipe. Everything just, it works so well together to make this beautiful Storm hookah. I'm gonna link a video below so you guys can see how to take this thing apart. What's really interesting to me in that video, the guy takes an Allen wrench through the bowl port and just torques this bad boy down like it's nothing. He's confident enough in the quality where you can really ram this thing down and keep it nice and firm so nothing is wobbling or rattling around. So that's really cool. So definitely check out that video of how to take this thing apart, because I'm not gonna show you guys. So definitely watch that video. Even simple parts like the bottom of the heart, the gasket, it has shape to it, and it's a nice thick gasket, so when you ram that hookah down onto that base, it doesn't thud, it doesn't crack your glass. It's a nice thick grommet that's built in, and it looks like it's part of the hookah. In addition, the grommet that clicks into the base, they've thought of everything. They have removable strips of grommet, so you can adjust the fitting exactly to your base. Now this particular base has a really wide opening, so I actually had to add a bit of tape underneath those grommets, but I could remove those grommets if I had a very fine neck. Already built in, so Genius. All right, so it's time for a quick smoke break. Thank you to all of you who are still here listening. There are a lot of features jam-packed in this pipe. They are abundant, so hopefully I conveyed all of those to you guys. So thank you for being patient and listening. Let's take a few puffs and tell you how this thing performs. So today I'm smoking a mixture of trifecta, of course. I have a mixture of dark leaf, natural order, grapefruit, and a bit of peppermint shake. They're all packed in a Goodfella bowl, and I told you restriction is a concern for me in this pipe, so I do have a Cloud Lotus Plus on top. This thing has water level very, very low to reduce the restriction, so I do have 4 Prestige flats in this. So thank you, Prestige, because I needed 4 today for this. Now, restriction and the draw is all a preferential thing. Some of you may like restriction. I actually reached out to Alex from 5 Star and asked him his opinion on this pipe and the draw. And he reminded me, and sometimes I forget, not everyone has the same preference as me. I enjoy a wide open draw, and not everyone does. Some of you prefer your Syrians, some of you prefer restriction. And restriction does lead to a nicer flavor profile. It's more potent flavor, but that's just not something I prefer. So keep that in mind. This is strictly my preference, and it's up to you guys on what you guys think. So I find this pipe to be restricted. Not just a little bit restricted, but restricted. Especially when you pair it with the diffuser, when you have the water level as high as I typically have. If you have the water level as high as I typically have, this thing is almost unsmokable. So today, to combat the restriction, I have the water level just about an inch above the downstem, which is where most of you probably do, but I prefer it a little bit higher. I can use less heat to fill up that base, and I think it performs a lot better. You guys see, you guys have been on the channel for a long time. You guys see I get results. Things work for me in the way I like it, but most of you do things a little bit differently. So I hope that makes sense. A lot of you ask me, how do I get such big clouds? No, there is great lighting right now, but they are not just lighting tricks. I have higher water levels, so there's less volume and for the smoke to collect, so it gets dense. Also, the ratio of heat, the way I pack my bowls, it all lends to my results. And this hookah is just different. It's different from what I'm used to. So that is why this pipe is not in my daily rotation. I'm telling you, everything else about this pipe I love. I'm telling you, this thing would be probably in my top tier hookahs. I mean, I'd put this next to the B2, I'd put this next to the MIG in terms of quality, in terms of features. This could be my favorite actually, if it wasn't just so restricted. But that's, like I said, my preference. I think a lot of you in this current setup without the diffuser, with a heat management device, would thoroughly enjoy it. It's just not my preference. So if you do pick up this pipe, reduce the water level down, maybe use a heat management device, and I think a lot of you would really enjoy it. It's just not something I could smoke on a daily basis. So in summary, this is a cohesive, beautiful, unique, highly engineered, quality, amazing, awesome. I mean, every word in the book is this pipe. The only thing I don't like is the restriction. Other than that, it's a slam dunk, 10 out of 10. Love it. If you like a little bit of restriction, buy this pipe right now, because it's also not overly expensive. I'm telling you about all these things and you're probably like, man, Zach, this is what, like a $350 pipe? You know, you're comparing this to an MIG, you're comparing this to a B2, it must be expensive. No, this thing is $249 without a base, and it does come with a hose. Now, we haven't even got into the hose yet because it's just simply great. This simply great. This is a better version of an Aviator. I love the Aviator, I recommend it to you guys. This is a better version. It is a soft touch, ultra soft touch silicone. It's malleable, it's open, it's got a nice aluminum handle, it's an appropriate length, it's got a wide open draw. It's beautiful. I would put this hose on any hookah and smoke it on a daily basis. Like I said, the click system, it's an amazing hose that comes with this package. So you are getting a lot of value in this, you're getting quality. So slam dunk, if you like a little bit of restriction, this is the pipe for you. But now you guys know why it's not in my daily rotation. So thank you guys very, very, very much. I appreciate your patience on this. I hope I answered all your questions. Feel free to comment below with anything you have. If you need more pictures, if you're on the fence about something, I'm happy to answer them. So thank you, Shishabucks, for allowing me to give my honest opinion on your wonderful pipe. Thank you for Prestige and Trifecta and all the great supporters of the channel. And thank you to you guys for always watching me. So I appreciate you guys. I will see you guys on the next video. Don't forget to subscribe and like and do all those YouTube YouTube-like things to help me out so I continue to making videos for you guys. I need to jump to work because I'm about 2 hours late. So see you guys in the next one. Bye everyone.